Okay, so today I'm gonna replace the cam follower. This is my 2008 Audi A4. It's the 2.0T model. Um, First thing you want to do before you get started is remove the fuel pump fuse. It's located in the driver's side fuse box. And after you do that, I just also turned my car on for a couple seconds just to let it run and to get all the high pressure fuel out of the system so there'll be nothing left in there. Okay, so first you want to remove the engine cover. It just pops straight off with the clips. You just pull that off and set it aside. Next you want to get to the PCV valve breather hose. The clips can be a little tricky, but since I just had mine recently off, they came off pretty easily. And also you just want to move this plastic bracket out of the way here, just holding the hose in place. And you need to get I believe it's a 10 mil socket. Just remove this little bracket that holds the clips there. This just gives you more access to get to the high pressure fuel pump bolts. So once you have that out of the way, the next thing you want to do is remove the electrical connectors that are connected to the pump. They come off pretty easily. It can be a little tricky depending, but just try to do it with your bare hands. I find if you use a tool, you're more likely to break the brittle plastic on it. So as long as you just press the right thing down, it'll just pop off. And now on the back side of the high pressure fuel pump here, there's a little plastic cap that covers the drain plug. So that just threads off, just plastic, so it's easy to come off. And then you want to get a wrench in there. You want to make sure you have some rags or something handy because there will be a little bit of fuel that comes out. So once you get that set, then you just loosen the drain plug off. It's pretty easy to, like once you break the initial torque, it's pretty easy to just loosen off. And like I said, you'll just have a little bit of fuel drain out, but shouldn't be much. As long as you've removed your fuse, make sure you do that first. Also be sure that you don't drop this into your engine bay. That can be a real pain when you drop something down there and it doesn't land on the floor. So just be very careful not to drop any of that or any of the small bolts that come off the actual pump itself too. So now you have to get to the large bolt, which is the fuel line. Um, it's a 17 mil wrench. Now I don't have a 17 mil wrench, so I use my adjustable one, which makes it a little trickier to get in there. Um, but once you get the right leverage on it, it will come loose, and that's all you need to do is to take off the rest to free up the bottom of it. That is because this is a 2008 model. I believe some of the earlier models used a different banjo fitting. So for that, there's a slightly different procedure, but this is all it is for this one. Next here, there's three bolts that hold the fuel pump to the cylinder head. So just remove those, and again, make sure you just don't drop them down into the engine bay or anything. This breather hose here, I just had to pop that off to give me more leverage on the 17 mil bolt on underneath. And the bolts, they're not actually that hard to get to. I just had to use a simple straight extension on my ratchet and use the long screwdriver just to get to the final loosening of it, but it's not too bad. Now the pump you want to just pull straight out. There is a rubber gasket in there, so you want to make sure you don't pinch it or anything. Now, one thing I should mention, I should have removed this electrical connector first before this part. I didn't think I had to. I thought I had enough clearance to take it out, but it's actually a lot easier once you remove this connector. So just remove that one. If you can get it with your fingers, great. If not, maybe just use a little flathead screwdriver to get it off. Okay, now the pump is off. This is the old cam follower. You can see it's actually not too bad. It's just the black coating is kind of rubbed off on the bottom, but I've seen much worse, so at least it hasn't worn all the way through or anything. This is the new cam follower. As you can see, it has solid black coating on the bottom, so that's what a brand new one looks like. To take it out and in, the easiest way is just to put it on the tip of your finger and just pull it out of the hole in there, and same way to put it back in. I also made sure I put a little bit of oil on the end before I put it in, just so it wasn't going in completely dry against the camshaft. So just line it up in the hole. It'll be pretty tight. It's a pretty tight clearance they have for it, but yeah, just pop it in there. And I also went ahead and replaced the rubber O-ring on the fuel pump at the same time. I'm glad I bought one. It was just a couple bucks from the dealer I bought online, but the old one was pretty dry and flattened, so it probably wasn't making as good a seal as you'd want it to. Um, so yeah, just I already replaced that on there. And then to put the pump back in, it's just reverse of the installation, and you want to just make sure you push it in straight and nothing binds. You don't want the rubber O-ring to pop out of place or anything, and just yeah, push it straight. There'll be a little bit of resistance from the spring, so you just want to make sure you don't cross thread any of the bolts or anything. Just make sure it's nice and tight on the head before you tighten down all three of those bolts. And you also want to make sure you check for the proper torque specs. I know they don't take much torque on these ones. I forget what the exact number is, but if you look it up, you can find it online. And they're just, I believe it's aluminum parts, so they don't take much torque. So just make sure they're in evenly before you tighten any one of the bolts down. And once you're done that, you just want to install the PCV valve breather hose again. Make sure you put that drain plug back on the very end of the high pressure fuel pump. Put everything back on. Reinstall the fuse in the fuse box, and that's it.